Bite, dodging like strays. Climbing out the gutter, I am real like the fray. Wrapped in shadow, but they shine like noon. For hearts beating, sink with the.
All right, welcome back to a new episode of the King's Effect podcast. This week we got Joel with us. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Joel, where you're from, what you do, and then we'll get right into the conversation of just Black men's mental health in general.
All right,
Our
gotcha.
experiences with it.
Sounds good. My name is Joel Patterson. I'm from Savannah, Georgia, born and raised. I am in mental health technology. I work with mental health therapists on a daily basis, helping them get up onboarded on a platform. And helping them basically run their own business. I've been in this space for about 6 months, but my mental health journey started a long while before that. But I think it was a culmination of everything that brought me and put me in that position. So definitely ready. I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to chatting with you about mental health.
So some of our experiences for me, just being able to navigate on the workplace because you have so much times that you have to hide yourself and not show your full authentic self. And
Right.
It's a lot of racism that plays into that too, that I experience in the workplace. And there's two things that I wanted to really touch on before you share your experiences as being a Black man and navigating your mental health. But it's just like, I don't know if you heard the term microaggressions, like overt and covert. Overt is like, it's literally you seeing that they're being racist toward you just because you're Black. And then covert is more subtle. They're saying like, oh, I didn't know you can rise to the top as a VP because you're Black, stuff like that. And so it's like my experience is just navigating that as a Black man has been really challenging, especially in corporate America, because it puts there's a lot of stuff that you see that goes on that you can't really say out loud because they're going to fire you and stuff like that.
Right.
And my experience when I was working for America at this job, and I saw that my coworker was there 3 months shorter than me. And he got a raise automatically, and I've been there for 2 years. And I'm like, you didn't earn that. And I just know that they gave it to you because you're a different color.
Right.
And that just really pisses me off sometimes when I see stuff like that. And even just like we have to deal with police brutality, just being able to, they'll stop you at any instance on the highway or when you're walking or even just in general setting. The other week, I was in the hospital and the police came by and it was like, open up your bag. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? Why are you accusing me of something that I did? Or he's like, you don't have to do it. But it was the pressure if I didn't comply.
Right. What happens then?
Something could have escalated really quickly.
Right.
And so when we talk about that, when we talk about Black men's mental health in general, what's some of your experiences that you went through as a Black man that you feel comfortable sharing?
For sure. I would start with identity. I think it took a while for me to not even accept, but there is a stigma around Black men and how they should act and what they should do and just around Blackness in general. And I think that is something that people really struggle with. I know I did too. At one point in time, chicken and hot sauce, I didn't want to eat that because I didn't want to be viewed as that Black guy. But as I got older, I think, and step into my authenticity, I feel like that is a part of me and I can't neglect that part of me. Every part of me is important and I gotta love and appreciate each part of me. So as I'm being more authentic, I'm realizing like, hey, listen, if I want to eat chicken, that's what I'm going to do. If I want the hot sauce with it, that's cool. Whatever else I want to add to it, that is all me. And I have to feel good about myself and who I am. That way, whatever other people are doing is not going to matter as much, because when you feel good about you, someone can say something, maybe you're like, oh, that wasn't nice, but you're not going to be all bogged down in your feelings. So it took a while to think through all these things of being programmed. Oh, you don't want to be that Black guy that's deemed violent or deemed a thug or deemed all these things. So you have to carry yourself a certain way. But I feel like with that being said, also when you're authentic, none of that really matters. I focus on the positive. I focus on not that I'm going to go outside and something bad is going to happen. I focus on I'm going to go outside, have a great time. I'm going to come back home safely. So I think obviously you get what you focus on. So if I'm going to focus on I'm going to go outside and the police is going to stop me and there's going to be a thing, that's what I'm going to get. And that's not what I want. So I am very strong when my beliefs come to just focusing on things that matter and the things that I want. Then I'll also add in the workplace, I've definitely seen some microaggression, but what I would tell you is I'm a kick-ass type of guy. I hope I can say that word here. When I come into a team, when I started the first tech startup, I was the first black guy to be hired there. So I don't know if there was expectation or not. I didn't care because when I get there, I come to win. So it doesn't matter what you're saying, what you're doing. I'm going to show up. I'm going to put my best foot forward and I'm going to win. And I was top two on the sales team. So obviously to be the first black guy at the company altogether was like, here I am. I didn't feel uncomfortable because I know who I am. So I think learning who we are, celebrating and being happy about all parts of who we are is really important for our identity. And I feel like once you do that, the microaggressions, I mean, people say my name wrong. Now, mind you, my name is always being called because I do good work, right? And if you're saying my name wrong, I feel like you're purposely being funny, but it's okay because when you look at that leaderboard, you'll also see my name at the top. So hello, you know what I mean? So I think it's a lot of just understanding who you are will help navigate those situations and make you feel a little bit better and knowing that you've always been a target and not that we chose to be one. That is how it's created ideas, savage and this and that, but to fear. Everything people fear, they don't know what to do with it. But I also show up kind. I show up helpful. It's not just I win, you lose. No, it's a hey, how can I help you? My teammates make time with me now to say, hey, what are you doing that's successful? How can you help us be successful? And I spend the time and show them. So I'm also doing with kindness and grace. It's not just I'm winning and you're losing. We're a team and we're all connected anyway. So let's be helpful to one another.
It's good that you shared that experience because a lot of times black men, they feel inadequate in the workplace. They feel like they can't be their authentic selves when they're around a lot of white people, just to be blunt like that.
Absolutely.
But what is some of like the coping mechanisms that you can deal with or help yourself out to navigate those white spaces? I've gone through therapy a lot and that's helped me to stay away from certain people that I know that have those racist tendencies, or you can see it.
Right.
And it may not always be obvious at first point, but then as you continue to be around that person, you start to see, I better stay away from you because I know my triggers.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so what are some of the coping mechanisms that you can help black men, no matter what aspect of life you're in, if you are navigating the corporate world, what are some of the things that you've done personally to help you to navigate those white spaces? And if you feel like you're the only black person there, or if you are the only black person.
I would start for one, know who you are. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot, but that is so important. The level of knowing who you are. If you know who you are, you belong. You're supposed to be there. That you were part of a team for a reason. No one had to give you anything. You earned it. And maybe you earned it more than some of the other people on your team. But that's the first part. And then when it comes to that, some people struggle with imposter syndrome and things like that. But I say affirmations. One that I say every day is who I am. And that is enough. So not because I look this way or I dress this way, who I am. And that is enough for me to have everything that I desire. So a very strong knowing of who you are, I think change the game for anyone. And I know that may be hard to figure out because you have your parents, their beliefs about things. You have your church, if you went to that, all these beliefs around you that are impacting who you are. But once you figure out who you are, not what they are or not what they want you to be, then you have a different way of viewing the world. So I think that is the biggest thing, knowing who you are, telling yourself those affirmations to help you figure out who you are if you're still struggling, which is okay. And to know who you are, I think, is when you sit with yourself and you think about something made me upset. Why did that make you upset? Talk to yourself because you are the one in the bodysuit here. We got to figure out who I am. I cannot live this world with everyone else's ideals. Granted, you think about as a kid, when you were not able to take care of yourself, your parents, whatever they say was the law. You didn't question it. You didn't say anything, especially not in a black household. No, we were not allowed to question or reason or even express our opinion a lot of times, right? So now as adults, we still have that kind of mindset of, I don't want to speak up. But as we grow and realize like, okay, this the way I think about the world is not how I think about it. It's how my dad thinks about it. Or it's how the people that raised me thought about it. And in that moment in time as a kid, I had to do what they said in order to get their love or to be taken care of. I couldn't be rebellious. Now, granted, I won't call it rebellious now. I would say that you're realizing that their thoughts are not my thoughts. And so jumping into that space and realizing that, I think also changed the game because now you're moving out of who you are, not who your parents want you to be, not who your church wanted you to be, or anyone else in your life that helped raised you. So I think that is also a big confidence booster because no matter what happens, who I am, and that is enough. And I also trust that everything is working out for me. And even if that means I'm getting fired, that doesn't mean that my life is going to crap. It means that I'm going to be set up for another position to do something better, to have something more. So I think these positive things, reinforcing them are helpful. But also, I'll go back to also looking into those negative things where we weren't allowed to express ourselves, where we didn't feel like our voice mattered. We have to tell ourselves a different story. Yes, my voice matters. It's valid. And now I can speak up with confidence because again, who I am, and that is enough. So that is enough for me to be able to say what I mean. That is enough for people to appreciate and value what I am saying because I say it with passion and I say it with love. And I think those kind of things just help me cope and help me be able to show up the way I do.
Yes, I do. Authenticity is the best way to show up.
Yes.
It really is when you think about it, because a lot of Black people, they are really going through a lot. Some of my friends that's navigating the corporate world, we have these conversations all the time. I don't feel like I deserve that or I'm worthy of that award because maybe you see other people that might be smarter than you from a different race and stuff like that. But that just means you have to work 10 times harder to get to that level of success and never feel like you're below them or beneath them because it's always going to be something that everybody can learn at the table. This is a team environment. It's going to be some challenges and it's going to be some strengths on you, no matter what team you're in. But I always remind my friends that it's not the end of the world if you don't get that promotion, or it's not the end of the world that if you get fired. That just means that maybe those things, I always like to say is a denial is not a delay. Just because you don't get the things you want right now doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get that promotion. You might get the promotion in another job. Sometimes you have to branch out, especially if you see a lot of racism and you just see a lot of corruption and things just being done underhanded to you. Sometimes the truth is you have to move on. So it is really important to be yourself and show up and don't try to hide those parts that make you bad, or just show up and be yourself as a Black man. That's really important. I do want to thank you though, Joel. This was a really, really good conversation that we had today. What I always just ask my guests is one piece of advice that they can take away and help other Black men in the world that's struggling right now, whether they're going through a bad breakup or they're under a lot of toxicity at their work environment, or just things are just not going well in their life in general. What's one piece of advice that you can give to Black men to help them to see that it's a brighter future and they're not stuck wherever they're at forever?
That's a great question. I'm going to say you figure out who you are. Again, as I mentioned, all these things that happen to us, different situations, different upbringings, all impact who we are. And sometimes we get away from our authentic self because of these things. So as we take time to know who we are, know what we like, know what we enjoy, not what someone else tells us we should enjoy, not what someone else tells us we should like. If you're like Naruto and your parents hated it, you like that. You can't take that away from you. You may not do it in front of your parents because they don't want to see it, whatever the case is, but get back into what you enjoy. Learn who you are. Learn what triggers you. Learn why these triggers. That's why a lot. That made me upset. Why did that make you upset? Because as a kid, someone never chose me on the volleyball team, so I never felt good enough. You know what I mean? Now talk to that little person, because a lot of our issues are coming from the little person that didn't get the love or support or whatever it is they were looking for. So when we start to talk to the little person, we're helping heal this adult person to say, hey, guess what? You are worthy of love no matter what. You are worthy of love. If you're not perfect to your parents, you're still worthy of love. So once we start telling ourselves those stories and start healing those issues that we've had as a kid, or traumas, or just different thoughts and patterns that aren't serving us, we then move into a space where we can feel authentic. We can feel like we deserve the world. We can feel like everything is ours for the taking. I feel that way wholeheartedly, right? But there was a process in which I had to lose literally everything to get to that point. And when I lost everything was car and all these type of things. And you're like, you define yourself by these things, but when you don't have them, you have to redefine yourself. So what does that redefinition look like? So, oh my goodness, I'm still valuable without this. Like, I still have value. I still show up. I'm still in love. I am love without these things. So now that I can do it with nothing, oh my goodness, what happens when you get an opportunity to do it again? Now it's skyrocketing because if you love yourself, if you value yourself, if you found value and wealth within yourself with nothing at all, with no job, with no car, with no apartment, then what happens when you do get that stuff? So I think valuing yourself, once you value yourself, there's nothing anyone else can tell you that can take that away from you. Just like education, you get the education, they can't take that away from you. So your self-worth is the same thing. And we need that because we are looked at as vicious and violent and all these things, but we are not all that. Also, we are not all the same. We all have our own vibes, and leaning into that. I like shells. Some people are like, what are you wearing that for? You know what I mean? Cool. You don't have to like it. This is my thing. This is my expression. These shells were currency at some point in time. So they have value and worth and meaning to me. So I wear them. You like your beanies, you like your flannels. That is how you vibe. That's your, you know what I mean? But being comfortable with this is who I am. I don't expect everyone to resonate or like it, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to show up as me. And who resonates, cool. There still can be commonalities between all of us and looking more into those commonalities within ourselves and others as opposed to figuring out, oh, they hate me because I'm this and I'm that. No, I'm not a victim here. I'm a victor in every situation. So even those bad, seemingly bad ones were setting me up to learn more about myself and to grow and to be that person I needed to be to get what I'm asking for. Because sometimes we're not ready. So those situations will get us ready, and then we can go forward and be who we're supposed to be.
I wholeheartely agree with all of that. And I think personally that you have to, I'm going to always keep saying, I'm a big advocate for therapy. This has helped me unpack some of those issues like childhood trauma.
Yes.
Why did I always be around a lot of females instead of males? I had a lot of female friends and I didn't have a lot of male friends. I had to really unpack that and see that maybe it was because of my father. Maybe it was because I just didn't vibe with a lot of guys and stuff like that.
Right.
So really going to therapy helped me to unpack all of that stuff. And then in terms of what you said, being authentic and loving yourself, those are really important because when you love yourself, it's going to radiate and it's going to attract other people to you. Like you're not in a relationship right now. You're going through a breakup. Somebody is going to see that you're doing the work for yourself and they might like that. So don't feel like you're long, you won't never get anybody or you won't get that promotion. When you show up and you be yourself, God is going to help you to get to where you be at in the next life.
Absolutely.
But that was a mouthful. I'm not going to keep you too much longer because I know we're kind of running out of time here. But I do appreciate you, Joel, for coming on here, sharing your stories. But it really is a pleasure to see a Black man thriving in life, and it's not always struggling. This is why I wanted to do that, because I wanted to talk to men of all types of walks of life, no matter where you're at. Some are struggling, some are successful, and I see the combination of the different things. But I'm gonna let you go, Joel. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, man.
And I really hope that you keep thriving and being successful in life and stay strong, my brother.
I appreciate it. And you keep it up as well. I think it's really beautiful for you to show the different types because that people will resonate with different people. Everyone won't resonate with me. Everyone may not resonate with you, but someone that shows up, they resonate. And I think that's important. So thanks for the work that you're doing. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.